Country now is dependent upon government. Half this country isn't paying federal income taxes. We're at a scary point now where there are almost too many people in the wagon, not enough people pulling the wagon. Every 9 minutes somebody leaves Illinois. Every 9 minutes somebody leaves Illinois. Who's leaving? The taxpayer, the business owner, the maker, the producer.
Maybe you should think about living in Illinois.
How sad is that? How sad is that?
For the fourth generation of Illinois.
I can tell you that a lot of companies are trying to leave. I'm not talking about big companies like Caterpillar and Sears. Governor Quinn bribes them to stay with our taxpayer money. But companies that have 100 or 50 employees, they're going up to Wisconsin or Indiana or Iowa. And I can't blame them. We've made it too tough to do business here. It's a shame.
And if we go bankrupt, it will get worse.
If we go bankrupt, everything will get worse. And everything will be restructured. We live in scary times, interesting times. What else, folks? A government that can give you everything you want can take away everything you have. You see, I think what's going on in the country right now, and this is why I like being where I am, the country's having a big fight. It's good. Sometimes people get mad because I fight a lot and I yell a lot. But I'm glad we are, because I think we've been asleep for too long. In your day, when you were kids and your mom and dad were kids, you made $1, that was your money, you kept most of it. You were free to live your life, but you were responsible to take care of your life. Now you make $1, the government takes too much of it, and we look toward government to take care of everything. That's really sad, because we don't get to keep as much of our money, we're not as free, and you know what? Back in your day and your parents' day, our churches were stronger, our communities were stronger, our families were stronger, because these were the groups that took care of people. Now we look toward government. We believed in family. You worked. Now we're raising kids and we've got generations who think if I've run into hard times, the government will bail me out. I can be on unemployment insurance forever. If I'm having trouble with my mortgage, the government will bail me out. I think we're teaching people wrong lessons. Huh? We hear that a lot. And there are actually jobs to be had out there, but business owners run into this. People don't want to do it. I think we're teaching people the wrong lessons. Obama talks about fairness. Fair, fair, fair. I think what's fair is you work hard, it's your money, keep it, as much of it as you can, take care of your life. And reward people who do that. Don't reward people who don't work. We're teaching the wrong lessons, especially I think to our young people, which is really sad. Young people now reflexively look toward government. How do we turn it around?
$1 million question.
I think a lot of tough love. I mean, I went to Washington and I said, I'm going to be outspoken because we have to turn it around. I'm going to look the American people in the eyes and say, if you vote for Joe Walsh, I'm not going to give you a darn thing. I'm going to try to limit what Washington takes from you, and I'm going to tell you to be in charge of your own life. It's going to take some tough love. You heard Chris Christie say that a couple minutes ago. We got to tell the American people the truth. We're broke. And we're getting more broke by the minute. It's time to grow up. Will people accept that message? I don't know. Will people in Illinois accept that message? Maybe not. And then Illinois will go bankrupt if they do.
But it's that
Tough love.
That component of, as we talked about with Medicare, Medicaid, you know, you paid into it, 55 and older, I mean, you paid into it. It should be yours, that component coming into play, that safety net, if you want to call it. It's the younger people who are starting to pay into it, who are getting socked with all of the, you know, the debt that accumulates as a result of, you know, a system that's broken, that really need to appeal to. So you satisfy the older folks and you appeal to the younger folks, and it should hopefully, you know, allow us to make a change.
What the Democrats are betting on, what Tammy Duckworth, there's Tammy right there, what she's betting on, she films me everywhere. What the Democrats are betting on is that they can scare you two, you three on Medicare, because they don't think you care about whether your kids or your grandkids have these programs. They're betting on the fact that they can scare you. And I guess I take an opposite view. I think better of you. I think you want the programs to be around for your kids. And we're going to find that out. So Republicans are saying, time to grow up, time to take care of these problems, because if we don't, in 30 years, your kids and your grandkids, every dollar they make, every dime they make is going to go to pay our bills. Defending this for freedom. Absolutely. Yeah.
And now we're not there yet.
No. And we forget things. It wasn't that long ago that this country was founded. Right? Men and women risked everything to start this country. Men and women have served over the years to defend this country. And now we're about to lose the greatest thing God ever created. Free America. Because I think too many people have forgotten what this country's all about. Our schools don't teach this stuff anymore. There's more about Barack Obama in our textbooks than there is George Washington. This is upside down. He's wonderful. She knows her stuff. Yeah. This is such a pivotal election. It really is. The biggest I can remember. What else, guys? What else is on your mind? Well, that's what's so interesting. Think about it. You're President Obama. You've been president for 4 years. Usually when you're the incumbent, you walk around every day and you brag about everything you've done. You talk about your record. Look at what I've done for jobs. Look at Obamacare. Look at how well my stimulus worked. You talk about your record. We have a president who won't talk about his record, and so what's he forced to do? He's forced to tell you that Mitt Romney's the worst person ever born. And Tammy Duckworth will do the same thing to Joe Walsh. That's not what the American people want to hear. People that sling mud get more mud on themselves. Well, we need people to pay attention. To pay attention. What else, guys? What other issues?
I might mention, I work for Honeywell. Hey. Our CEO has made a big push to say that we need to take care of the national debt or we're going to have big problems. Interesting. So I asked what do you think?
Ask the question, would you please take care of the national debt, and what are you going to do? Well, there are two ways to take care of the national debt. By the way, the national debt is $16 trillion, but it's really not $16 trillion. When you add up, oh, it's bigger. When you add up all of our current Medicare and Social Security liabilities, it's about 80 to 90 trillion. So what do? Well, government's too big and it spends too much. So you have to go after spending, and we don't have enough money coming into government. How do you get more money to come into government? Well, that's easy. I'll talk about that one first. You don't raise taxes. You cut taxes. You simplify the tax code so that the economy grows and you have more taxpayers out there working. So that's one thing we need to do. We should have a simple flat tax. We have one of the highest corporate tax rates, actually the highest in the industrial world. Cut these taxes so that our economy will grow. One thing we got to do. But then you got to cut spending. Everything. I mean, I'm on record, come home from Afghanistan tomorrow. Come home. There's a lot of government we can cut, but the biggest, fastest growing pieces of the federal budget are Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. We have to reform these programs or we will never change the trajectory we're on. Reforming the entitlements is the only way ultimately to get us out of debt. Cut government spending, reform the entitlements, and cut taxes, simplify the tax code to grow the economy. If we did those three things, we would turn this country around in 3 to 4 years. We know it. We know it. Republicans know it. Most Democrats don't believe in that. That's why we need to change people this election. Because President Obama doesn't want to do that. You could never make it in government. Don't spend the money you don't have. You can't be serious. So the very first bill I introduced in Congress last year was a balanced budget amendment. Amend the Constitution so it says every year the federal government cannot spend more money than it takes in. Seems pretty basic, right? It came about 10 votes shy of passing the House, so we're not there yet. Here's another good one. I'm on a bill called No Budget, No Pay. If you're in the House and you're in the Senate and you don't pass a budget for a year, you don't get paid that year. No salary. Force these guys, force us to do our job. You have to do it in the business. The very basic thing you should do in government is make a budget. We fund the budget a few months at a time. What you were going to ask something.
How do you deal with folks who will argue the point about decreasing taxes and increasing revenues to the government? There are a lot of people who don't agree with it.
You fight them. You fight them. They don't understand economics. They just don't. Every time in our history, when we decrease taxes, and generally when we simplify the tax code, government revenues go up. You know, and we've got example after example. Bill Clinton, when he was president, cut the capital gains tax by a big number. Government revenues went up. Remember during the last campaign, even Obama was asked, you understand, Mr. Obama, that if you raise the capital gains tax, government revenues go down. He said it doesn't matter. That's the fair thing to do. It's basic economics. When you let more people keep more of their money, good things happen. Especially the wealthy. If you want the wealthy to pay more, simplify the tax code. Because right now, who does this crazy tax code benefit? Wealthy people and big corporations. Because they can find that you. They can find every accountant and lawyer to find every loophole. Get rid of all the loopholes. Give me a one simple 15% flat tax. Lower the capital, the corporate tax rate. And it's just basic economics in history.
And then they can create their own loopholes as a result of being big corporations or other individuals.
It's hard. I mean, well, sometimes I go to bed at night wishing I were a Democrat. I'm only partly being funny. It's easier to be a Democrat. Oh, it's much easier. You wake up every day and it's like Halloween. You walk around with a bag of treats.